Hello there, this is Dr. Judith. Sometimes we feel as if we're the one that is outside tending the sheep. We're the least of everybody else in the house. We're the last one to be brought before Samuel. We're the one that is kept to the last because we seem the least important. So it was with David. David was the one who was outside in the field, while the others were passed before Samuel for inspection. And the brothers all got an opportunity to be looked at, to show whether or not they fit the bill to be king. But of course, Samuel went there knowing who would be king. But yet he had to go through the process that the Lord told him to go through. He had to do it God's way before a final decision was made to bring David into the room so he could be looked over. And indeed, he was the one that God had told Samuel to anoint. Sometimes life looks very funny and very dreary and very unlike what looks like it's going to be successful. And we might feel we're just tending the sheep, just tending the sheep. But what we need to do is to learn to tend the sheep as unto the Lord. We need to do whatever we find at our hands to do it as unto the Lord. We need to remember that it's not always our timing, but it's His timing. And that when He sends someone to get us for a particular mission, for a journey, that we might not be in the place we would like to be when He comes to get us. But because the person that He sends knows their job, they'll wait around until we come inside to be looked over. David didn't know, but soon he would know. And when all the brothers had been passed before Samuel for inspection, finally he said, "Is this all there is? Is there any more?" And of course, Jesse, David's father, said, "Yes, there's one more out in the field, tending the sheep." We might think that tending the sheep is not a big deal. But let me tell you something. If we learn to recognize where we are at the time that we're there and simply do what we have to do, when it's time, when it's God's time, He'll have someone call you and say, "Come." If you come before the time is right, you'll have to go back out to the field again and tend the sheep again until it's the right time. So I ask that whoever listens to this or watches this, remember that it's always God's perfect timing. And that sitting by, waiting and counting the minutes for Him to call you is not the way to do it. We should spend the time waiting, praising Him, always giving Him honor and glory while we do our job, whatever that might be. He'll never be late, and He'll call us on time, and we might think He has forgotten us. But with Him, it's always His timing that matters the most. So tend your sheep. Do what you're called to do for this moment, for this season. When He has great plans for you, even if you're not sure what plans they are, He won't forget. And just when you think that maybe there's nothing left, nothing else in terms of time, and maybe you think you're too old and your time is up and you won't get that call, don't be fooled. God's got plans for His children. David didn't necessarily know what was in front of him, but Samuel did. And Samuel was faithful in the execution of his duties, even though initially he was afraid to go to anoint David. If we want to be anointed by Him and by His servant or servants, then we need to tend to the sheep until they're called. Read it for yourself. It's in 1 Samuel chapter 16. Read it for yourself and you see what I'm talking about. He was the least expected to be king. David was. And that's how God moves. He goes to the one that nobody would expect anything of. He goes to the one that shocks everyone and just throws the whole plan off in terms of human planning. So like I said before, do what you're called to do it the best you can, and when it's your turn to be anointed, you'll get the call. This has been Dr. Judith. Until next time, see you again. God bless and bye-bye.